What's up, Fantasy Football Universe? Is the Devy mastermind of the FFU, SC Romero, here to bring you another Devy Diamond. And today we're going to talk about one of my favorite Devy Diamonds of this season and moving forward, just a guy that I'm having on my radars, and that is South Carolina quarterback LaNorris Sellers. We're going to get into his strengths, his area of improvement, and my thought in his potential future as an NFL prospect. All that and more in this episode of the Devy Diamonds right after the intro. Fantasy Football Universe, what's going on? It is SC Romero, the Devy mastermind of the FFU. Before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to us. Let us know what you like in the comments so we can provide you with everything you need to know to win your fantasy football leagues, not only in the NFL realm, but also in the college realm too. But let's get right into it. The Devy Diamond of today is South Carolina quarterback LaNorris Sellers. Now, a little bit of the history on LaNorris Sellers. You know, he was a three-star prospect out of South Florence High School in Florence, South Carolina. Originally had 5 offers, and he committed to Virginia. That didn't really last long, you know, because about a few months later, he got an offer from Syracuse, and he ended up decommitting from Virginia to commit to Syracuse. Then a few months later, he got 5 more offers, one of them being in South Carolina, and he actually decommitted from Syracuse to go to South Carolina. Now, last year was his technical freshman season. It's going to be a redshirt season, but he played in 3 games, threw for 100% accuracy, which is great. It was only 4 times, though, but still didn't miss a target in those 4 targets or those 4 passes that he threw, 486 yards and 2 touchdowns. So that's awesome. He also ran for 5 times and had 51 yards on the ground with an additional touchdown. So with that sample size, we saw a little bit. We saw the precision, right, in his throwing. We saw the mobility in his throwing or in his feet work, his footwork there as well, and his ability to extend the plays as well, which is great. Fast forward to today. This is his freshman season, right? Because the one before was his red shirt. He had a tough outing, in week 1, 43.5% completion, as you see it on the ticker here. He didn't do what in the games? He threw for just over 100 yards. He did have 20 rushing attempts for 68 yards, which is good. Okay, that's pretty awesome. And then 1 touchdown on the ground. Now, I do believe Raheem Sanders had like 22 touches, so that's pretty big there. And or 24, 24 touches, and so that's pretty big there. So it's something that he needs to continue to improve on, right? He needs to stay more focused in the pocket. Like, he has the size to be a good quarterback. He has the arm strength to be a good quarterback. He has the mobility to be a dual threat quarterback. But you could definitely see that he hasn't overtaken the role as the starter quite yet. Like, it was kind of the week 1 nerves, right? It felt like creeped into him, and he wasn't comfortable in the pocket quite yet. He felt like he had to escape a lot to get out there and make it happen. And then his throws were a little wobbly. He does have some concerns when it comes to the deep balls as well. So that's big parts. But before we get into the areas of improvement, let's talk a little bit about his strengths, because he had, like I said, he has the arm, man. He could throw down the field. He has the arm strength to stretch the field if he needs to. It comes with the precision, right? Adding that touch to it that makes him a different quarterback to just one that can throw it 50, 60 yards. But he does have that arm strength to do it. He has the athleticism. We've seen it. We see his mobility. We see his ability to get outside the pocket, to extend the play, to make sure his wide receivers can get open, or just to gain the extra yards and keep the drive moving, right? Keep the chains moving forward as well. He does have a quick release, right? That's something to pay attention to, too. When the pressure's coming, he can get rid of the ball very quickly, which is awesome. That's something that some quarterbacks do not have. They hold the ball too long, right? LaNorris Sellers is not one that necessarily holds it too long. He's someone, he sees the pressure coming. If he can't escape it, he can get it out real quick, right? And that's something you love to see as well. The playmaking ability. Yes, he's a dual threat quarterback. However, I want to see him improve in the passing game for sure, just to make sure he's one of those elite dual threat quarterbacks, right? Because I know he can run the ball. I know he has the speed to get out and run the ball as well. But I want to see him maintain the composure in the pocket when it's collapsing. Not every time you have to escape the pocket when it's collapsing. Maintain the confidence, get it to your wide receivers, and make those throws. He does have that accuracy to throw into the tight windows. He does have that touch to make it on the short and intermediate throws as well. And he's aware in the pocket. He understands when the pressure's coming, and he understands when he does need to escape. But I feel at times he always thinks I do need to, get out and make it happen. Sometimes, again, as I just said, stay focused in the pocket, maintain your composure, and still deliver your passes, which is what I want to see him improve on as well. Areas of improvement, consistency, really. And we see that. We haven't seen much of it, but it's just that consistency at the decision making. Again, he's still a younger quarterback, still needs to get the reins under him, understand the team is his, and he needs to go out there and lead that team with confidence, which is great. The footwork mechanics, again, going back to it, I feel he relies too much on his feet at times to save him. And that's good, but as a quarterback too, it's like, man, rely on your arm. Rely on your intelligence to make the throws. If you're making the throws in the tight windows, make sure you're throwing it with that touch, throwing the bullets in those tight windows to get it to your wide receiver and move the chains. Don't just go on your footwork to make sure, you're going to escape the pocket and get 2 or 3 yards when you could have made that throw. And you could have got 10 or 15 yards as well. The deep ball accuracy, I think he thrives in the short and intermediate passes, which not every quarterback necessarily does. He does, as I mentioned, get the ball out quickly there as well. But the deep ball is an area of improvement because that's an area where he can definitely finesse his touch. Sometimes he's overthrowing or underthrowing the guys. It's just finding out where the wide receiver is going to be. It's not on the wide receiver to know where the ball is going to be at. It's the quarterback that needs to lead the wide receiver to the ball and say, hey, I see you're going to be there. I'm going to make sure it gets there to you as well. Ball security as well. As a dual threat quarterback, as a quarterback that has rushing upside, just maintain the ball. Any way you can not allow turnovers is a key part. And when you're running, it becomes a big part for you as well. And then just reading defenses, the pre-snap motions, understanding what it is. In the SEC, he's going to face a lot of complex defensive schemes. And understanding what he needs to do in the pre-snap motions will go a long way, right? And understanding when it's a cover 1, cover 2, when they're coming to blitz, so that way he understands what he needs to tell his line to get the blockers or have his wide receivers adjust their routes because he knows, hey, they're coming in the blitz. I need to get it out quickly. I don't need you to go down the field. I need you to just run a quick slant route here so I can get it to you as well. Understanding that will go a long way for him too, which is big. But again, these areas of improvement for him are areas based on inexperience, right? Areas that he can definitely improve on, but he'll get better with the experience he goes. And the thing is, he's in the SEC. So those areas of improvement, they need to come sooner rather than later because in the SEC, man, it's filled with dogs on the defensive side of the ball. And they're going to exploit every single mishap they can from LaNorris Sellers. And it's going to make him look bad than what he really is. Because, again, he's a great quarterback. What I've seen on tape, he looks good. It's just the experience is needed. You can see he's someone that doesn't have that and someone that needs to gain it to gain extra opportunities or to lead his team to further victories. And he has a tough matchup this week against Kentucky. Kentucky has a top defensive lineman in Deion Walker on their team that's going to make sure he's getting after him. So LaNorris Sellers is going to have to elevate his game this week, and not get sacked 4 times like he did in week 1 as well. As far as draft stock for him, now he has the skill set to be a first-round pick. Right now, though, and I would say that he has a skill set to be a first-round pick. Right now, though, I see him more as a day 3 prospect. I mean, in the sample size we see him, it's not looking pretty for him. Can he improve? Most definitely. But if he does it, if he continues just to, shade around less than 200 yards passing and rushing for 20 attempts, but not getting much out of it as well, I mean, he's not going to be anything but a day 3 prospect. At that point, maybe even undrafted, to be honest with you. And that's something where, again, we're going to see as he progresses because I think South Carolina has faith in him to lead the team. He just has to gain the confidence to say, hey, it's mine as well. So a day 3 prospect for me right now, things will change, because I think he has the talent to be a first-round prospect. And I believe a good team with him would be a Seattle Seahawks, right? Imagine if 2 years from now, if the Seattle Seahawks still have Geno Smith, it's possible, right? And let's say they still have Sam Howell too. It's possible. If he's mentored by a Geno Smith, which is what Sam Howell is doing right now, That will be great. Geno Smith has been through the adversity to understand what it takes to be a good NFL quarterback, right? We've seen him be in his worst and we've seen him in his best, and he understands what needs to be taken. So having that mentorship of breaking down the speed of the NFL from a Geno Smith will be great. He's better than Sam Howell. I like Sam Howell as a quarterback too, but he is better than Sam Howell. I believe he adds a extra level of athleticism than what Sam Howell can, and also what Geno Smith can. And again, it's just finessing those fine tunes in him as well. Understand how to throw with the touch, understand how to make those deep balls, especially if you go to a Seattle Seahawks where you have someone like DK Metcalf, where you have someone like a Jackson Smith-Njigba, where you have brothers in Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet that can, take the pressure off of you as well. Understand how to read the defenses at an NFL level and break down the plays in the pre-snap motions. Something Geno Smith does well will carry over to him as well. So what I'm saying is I like Seattle, but really I think right now he just needs that mentorship. Again, we have a long time till he gets drafted. That's just somewhere where if he came out today, I would love to see him in Seattle as well. As far as a fantasy impact for him, kid's great, man. He's a potential game changer when it comes to the college football fantasy landscape. Again, dual threat. He can gain yards on the ground. He has the arm strength to get the yards through the air as well. We didn't see it much in week one, but I do believe as the season progresses, we're going to see LaNorris Sellers elevate into one of the elite quarterbacks of the game. Again, just getting the week one nerves off of him. A lot of college football teams did have those nerves in week one. It's gone. We're into week two. Let's see what we're going to continue to do. LaNorris Sellers can't do it, and he's going to be a quarterback to watch out of South Carolina because as he gains the experience, he's only going to progress. It's levels to this, right? Right now, he's at the bottom level, right? First game full-time starter, this is him. He's at the bottom level. Elevate, get up the levels. I think LaNorris Sellers will do that as the season progresses, and he's going to be a top quarterback in the nation when it comes to it, just based on what he can do. And again, just reading those motions, understanding the progressions, understanding what he needs to do within the pocket without necessarily using his feet, understand he has his feet as weapons, but continues to elevate through his arm and get his wide receivers the ball to make the plays for him as well. That's all we have for you today for our Devy Diamonds. LaNorris Sellers is a Devy prospect I am high on. I really love his game, what I have seen on tape. I do know he does need to improve. So right now, especially off of week one, he's a buy low. People may be off on him. Go get him if you can, because I think he's going to continue to elevate. And again, levels to this, that he's going to be one of the top prospects that we're going to be talking about years to come. That's all I have for you today, Fantasy Football Universe. Again, if you like these Devy Diamonds, if you like fantasy football content, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe to us. We're here every day bringing you new and fresh content to make sure you're staying up to date in your fantasy football leagues. Until next time, I'm SC Romero. Follow me on X at the PPR. So, peace.